Hi everyone, welcome to another exciting roundtable at Community Hood. This session is special because today we are making some changes in the format. We tend to host open conversations. So far we used to do that into smaller groups. Today we are going to experiment the format a little bit, where we are going to make it more like a candid group conversation with everyone. I'll sort of highlight that a little bit more in some time. Awesome. So what based on our experience, like in B2B, you have like a relatively more gated community. You focus on qualified members. There is a very clear ICP defined, like as part of any B2B business. So you generally only want those ICP to be your members, or let's say even if not, then you generally have some level of gating. Then a lot of focus is on, because there are key account managers, the community teams focus a lot on making sure that new members feel welcomed. You build close relationship with them. You build content along with them in a lot of time, in a lot of cases, take their feedback, like more on a personal basis. Then, you also do events which are a lot more, inclusive, like what we are doing here, where you want your members to participate, because, most members who will join these events are already part of certain businesses. So there is some level of qualification already happening. So you do more, sort of participative events. So that's like little bit on what we felt is common in B2B. In terms of B2C, I think a very, very common thing that we see is a huge overlap between, social media management and community management, because you have to manage scale. And when you are managing scale, you have to do things at in a way that you are appealing to masses, while you still do all the things that B2B community builders do. But there is a huge focus on using different tools to manage those interactions. A lot of focus is on identifying, who do I talk to, because you cannot literally talk to everyone in your community. So analytics becomes a lot more important. You also sort of, there is a thin overlap between customer support and role of a community builder. Like B2B, you'll see a lot of customer support dedicatedly being done by account managers. Here there is customer support, but that's only for very like resolving certain, let's say, bad experiences that a customer would generally have. So you indirectly become like customer success manager as well. You have to communicate your mission a lot more frequently. The event formats change. You're doing a lot more broadcasting type events than let's say events where you allow everyone to speak. So I think these are few fine things that we could think of, but we don't want to stop here. So now I'll open the floor for discussion. So I'd like to invite on stage, Ruchi, Vineet used to work as a community builder at 91 Springboard, which was like a co-working space. So you, like, for them, the startups were the clients. Ruchi works at Hen, which is like an entrepreneurial female entrepreneur network. So for her also, the focus is on entrepreneurs. I'll also invite Dipin. Dipin is focused on helping financial advisors, and these are also like small businesses. So one thing is common between all three of them is they have been focused on entrepreneurs as a TG. And then I will, of course, also pitch in, because Community Hood and, like, more importantly, LikeMinds, which is our business, is a B2B business. Hi guys. Quickly want to take your view on this topic, that the format of events is very different in terms of B2B versus B2C. what do you think, guys, in terms of B2B? What kind of events have you done? Especially Vineet, given that I think yours was more structured businesses, would love to hear. And I know like that time it was very offline, but what's your view on the kind of events that B2B organizations do versus, let's say, a B2C organization?
So the event format was basically when we were focused, that's the reason I was giving the background. So when we were focused on the startups, freelancers and SMEs, we used to do events like networking events like Big Bad Startup Bash, have a startup open house where startups used to come and...
So networking events was one format.
Networking events, product showcase, and brand collaborations. Like for example, with AWS, IBM, and
got it.
So additionally, a lot of developer communities also used to come and do the events because startups are mostly they were tech focused and they get to interact with the tech audience. So these were the major chunk which the events can be segregated into.
Got it. So networking events, startup sort of service providers for those businesses in a way. They coming and presenting, then maybe developer events where they could, again, more like networking was the intent, I'm assuming here, for hiring purpose.
Hiring a product adoption.
But for your community, that was the main outcome, right? Or was it training their developers?
No, so the whole idea was that since we were giving our infrastructure, the facility to conduct those events at our places, the folks who used to come, they also used to get excited. What is this place? What do you guys do? And that's how we used to get in a lot of inbound inquiries.
Got it.
So event became our, key. Events were the key where we used to get in the audience. And later on, once they come in regularly, they used to say, okay, yeah, we love this place. How can we operate out of this place or be part of the entire ecosystem? So that's the crux of it.
Got it. Ruchi, what's your experience been, in terms of the formats of events that you've done? And you think those are a little different than maybe B2C? So networking is definitely one which changes, like you don't do a lot of networking events in B2C. So yeah.
Correct. So Nipun, from where I see, so I run a community for women entrepreneurs. But this is an event or learning event. But while I was listening to Vineet and I was listening to you, I was able to segregate that on him. What we've gone in is demarcate these two sessions. So for example, even in networking, there is regular networking, there is speed networking. Then we do some subject-based networking where a bunch of us come who want to discuss a subject, or we do networking with a type of industry, or we do networking with complementary companies. So with networking, the deal is business लाना है, कैसे लाना उसके ऊपर में you keep applying thought process. Similarly, when it comes to learning, so there is basic knowledge learning, then there is product learning, or it is learning from somebody's experience. So experience becomes AMA, otherwise it becomes workshop, it becomes, different kind of learning session. So by large, these are the two events that I see broad categorically, and then we're kind of cutting it down. And then the third thing that is now coming is with the all online, offline medium, how you take these different events on different models and then open it up for audience.
Dipin, what's your view on the kind of events that you plan to do, for your organization?
Thanks, Nitin, for giving the opportunity. I'll just add to what Vinita and Ruchi said. So what is the one difference that I've observed between B2B and B2C is B2B may you have the option of having these one-on-one conversations. So as we are so I think we have around 1,000+ members in our firm. So we do both the kind of sessions where we have so we do both the kind of activities. I think we have 1,000+ members. So we have these webinars also, which are being attended by 150, 200 to 250+ people, and then we have this separate session also where people come together to network. So I think what I've observed is B2B may it is possible to have one-on-one conversation with everyone rather than in B2C. So B2B may you have both the options. Like once the community expands, you can always have the webinar format also. But at the same time, it is it is not that big as B2C where you don't have the B2C one-on-one conversations. So like that is like what we have been following at our firm.
Got it.
Yeah.
Let me quickly invite some of the B2C guys and hear their perspective. Maybe Nirav, Yash, if I can have you on stage. Manohar, Yash, Nirav, anything that you'd like, very, very specifically in terms of formats of events that you guys do in your community, which are different than what we've already heard from the others?
Yeah. See, basically, when it comes to B2C, I have a community of influencers, bloggers, and content creators. So what I see to it like in two perspectives. One is from the perspective point of creating a network among the influencers, bloggers, content creators. That is the main motive I have, and create a big platform across India. And the second is because having this connectivity with all the major leaders in terms of influencer marketing in the city, certain brands started approaching us for doing the brand campaigns with all these influencers. And so I created one concept as in to give a 360-degree solution using influencers, bloggers, content creators, photographers, and
but what event formats did you do for that? I
did festival celebrations. That is, we had Navratri celebrations last year, then we had Diwali celebrations, we had Christmas, New Year celebrations, and one we did was a reel marathon. So that was, I promoted, gave them a challenge. And apart from that, I got it.
So one trend that I'm seeing, Nirav, in your case is some of your events are more like challenges and competitions. So these are more like campaigns, and I can understand because you have to manage things at scale. Running challenges probably and different competitions is something that's probably more common in B2C. Nishkarsh, hi. Just to give everyone background, Nishkarsh builds communities for MPL. Again, MPL is an app-based community, Nishkarsh. Would love to know, do you conduct events as well? And if yes, then what kind of events do you conduct?
Well, Nipun, for us, I definitely second what Manohar just mentioned with the kind of synergies B2B space more has in terms of the engagement and interaction that we can build up. And there's also a thought process when you talk about B2B events that there is a sense of understanding with the customer already regarding the product or service. All we need to do is kind of pitch ourselves better. But in a B2C space, it's very massive sort of a setup wherein the engagement that happens initially. So we, particularly from the gaming industry that I belong to, we categorize it in two different ways. One is the new noobs, the people who don't have much of the knowledge of the game as such, but we want to build them up and inform them, create that sort of a learning and development series for them. So we do a lot of free workshops and AMAs, like even Richie mentioned. So that is very important in terms of imparting the right information and bringing them on the platform. And there's a lot of engagement that happens with the high rollers, people who have been investing a lot of time and money on the gaming applications. They are recognizable faces and all that. So we build up that sort of that sort of interaction too. For us, the major challenge happens for the users who have actually matured after a period of time. New users is still okay. You can throw out a contest, you can throw out an activity, free workshop, any element or any event that would have some sort of major incentive, tangible and tangible involved. They can come and kind of be a part of it in whatever number that may be. But when they mature after a period of time, they've played on an app or they've kind of grown numbers. That's when the game happens, because they feel that they know everything. They don't want our indulgence. They don't want us to babysit them in any way. So that's when, how do we modulate that particular sort of incentivization? So we create more fan-based events for them. We do a lot of fan meets. We kind of bring them all together, game enthusiasts based on the kind of game category that they belong to, have that sort of informal engagement. Even if for a glass of beer, they will just sit with us and chill, and they'll have that sort of a discussion. They'll bring in a friend along. We'll be able to pitch in a very informally way what we are offering, have those sort of engagements on that particular situation itself. That helps us kind of build that sort of a setup. And then again, a lot of sponsorship happens. So a lot of game enthusiasts, a lot of international tournaments and everything are happening all around the globe. So one of our game categories, poker category, it's a very niche sort of a game category. So we have certain ambassadors or faces of people who have been playing on the platform for quite a while. We have started sponsoring them, their trip to go and kind of play and have that sort of feeler. That gives us a right sort of visibility in the market as well. And we are creating that sort of a sense around. So once, for instance, one of our users recently went to WSOP. It's one of the major poker category games happening in US right now in Las Vegas. So we are kind of creating that sort of a sentiment. We have created a small community already in the last 15 days. We have around 25 odd members who have already logged into our app in the US version of it. And we have started to build up the community around them. So that's the way kind of we are scaling it up. It's a massy thing. So there will always be challenge in terms of the churn and everything. We cannot cater to everything everyone personally as in B2B space. But there is a sense of connection out there. That's what we try to build up.
Got it. So identifying different cohorts of your users and designing different community programs for different cohorts is, I think, very, very common in B2C, especially, finding your power users with certain, criteria on the app or whichever place your community is hosted becomes a lot more important. Given you cannot build relationship with everyone in the community.
See,
Got it.
The level of churn when you talk about in B2C space is very high. For B2B,
Correct.
Once a user or a community member is on board, it's very highly unlikely for him to kind of churn out on the very next day. But in B2C space, it happens every day. So to finding more users and to retaining the existing one, that's the kind of a task that we take up almost every day.
Sure. On the same point, Yash, what's the content tone that you guys have in your community? Is it more formal? Just to give everyone a background, Yash runs community at BlueLearn, which is community focused on students to help them learn new skills. Yash, go ahead.
Okay, so what content as in if the topic is mostly around skill development or something, that's what mostly we target. But yeah, our events are most probably on a guest talk side where we bring in someone who is kind of have some experience in the space and they talk about it. We also have meetups, but they are not on a much bigger scale because if we just tell everyone about this meetup, we have thousands of members, so it becomes unmanageable. And whatever meetups we are on low scale, or if it's everyone meetup, then we'll have to also kind of, we can't give them perms to always talk. We have to do this some raise your hand to talk or request access on Discord. There's some stuff here. But yeah, that's the point. As Manohar said, I would like to phrase it as there's not much motivation of a community member to be a part of the community than B2B because the relation maybe the motivation is low. That's what I think. So we have to kind of bring in more value so that they be there. The reason why we do events is that we have hundreds of members who join in every week, every month. So we have to make sure they know what BlueLearn is, what are the activities, because the community is running on the server. So that's what basically we want to do. At the end, we want to leverage the Discord server where people can actually use whatever we have made and whatever we are providing. It's unmonetized as of now, but still we want to provide something, and events just act as something where we could actually talk about it, and there's direct value coming out of the events. So yeah, that's it, I guess.
Got it. Shifting gears a little bit here, would love to know, how some of the one-on-one interactions, on a broad level, we know that, one-on-one.
Nipun, there was somebody who wanted to add to this conversation. He was not able to raise hands. It was there in the message box. Kanhaiya, I think, some with K.
Kanhaiya, you want to jump in? Kanhaiya, you there? All right, we'll bring you as soon as you're back. So just wanted to take the one-on-one interaction thing a little more deeper. Is there a difference in in case of B2B? There is always a very, very defined onboarding. In most cases, you're looking for potential client, right? There is a very clear ICP. When there is someone who meets the ICP, you pitch them. Even we do that at LikeMinds. If someone who builds an app first community, we would reach out to them and just try and understand whether we can help them with our solution. And then whoever doesn't fit, we have a general this thing, and we reach out to them with the general welcome on communityhood. given the scale is manageable, we have just these two sort of ways of approaching. How does things work in your communities in terms of, one-to-one engagement, especially with the B2C guys? Would love to know that. So Nishkarsh, you already said, you identify certain very, very high sort of potential members, and you build like relationships with them. Are there any other things that you do, Nishkarsh, other than like the very, very high potential ones on one-to-one relationship building?
See, I mean, the only one-to-one happen for the noobs is happen when there is some sort of a problem statement. However, we're only focusing on the people who are basically, from business perspective, generating more revenue for us. And these are basically the high rollers spending more time and money on the platform. So we definitely have that sort of an incentivized communication. Other than that, we have started exploring the elements of fan meets and everything, and engagements, on-ground engagements as well, now that the pandemic is almost, proceeding. In a way that we've started, in smaller cities and towns, because a lot of massy crowd from the gaming industry, they lie in the tier 2, 3 cities as well. And the communication that happens on social media, it's not exactly kind of reachable to them. They're not exactly very much engaging to that sort of a content element. So we have to physically reach out to them as well. That's what the kind of feedback that we have recently got. So we have started conducting those smaller events out there, and that has actually given us a good response in a way that people have started responding to the fortnightly, feedback forms that we used to send out to them. So that's a good.
Understood. So offline events is a good, like, of course, B2B it works, but for even B2C, offline events help build like one-on-one relationships. Dipin, you want to add something here?
Yeah. So Nipun, I think I would have said that I am a Mindvalley member. So there are 80,000 plus members in worldwide. So what they have done is for each and every quest, or like for each and every program, they have brand ambassadors for that, which keeps engaging the community every now and then. And as of now, they have also started with Mindvalley dinners, which are specific to 10-15 people. So I think as Nishkar said, if we identify those brand ambassadors for the community, I think they'll keep engaging the community every now and then.
Got it. So find way to create, let's say, sub community leaders who can sort of build relationships on your behalf. That's also something interesting that happens in B2C. Vineet, you also have something to add here.
Yeah, hi. So Nipun, I was actually helping my friend build a community for data scientists. People looking to start, transition, and grow in the field of data science. So while I was interviewing a couple of them, folks who were like at a 4-5 years experience, somebody who's starting out, somebody who has been in the space, I could figure out that there are like 3-4 challenges which these guys are looking at. And on the basis of those challenges, I was able to narrow down my questions. So initially the 1 hour interaction came down to 30 minutes. Later on, we were able to figure out the webinars and as well as the feedback forms which came into place. So when somebody was interested that I want to learn about it, we used to send them a questionnaire. With the response, we were able to segregate then that why don't you come to this webinar or this one or this one? And then the member journey was planned. So initially 2 months, 2 to 3 months, it was like a big, time consuming stuff. As Reid Hoffman says, that do things that don't scale. And later on, we were able to productize it to figure out that how things would scale. And we also, signed up a collaboration deal with another, agency, where folks looking to go for masters in data science outside. We actually filtered the profile, figured out, okay, these are the things which you could look at, and then, shared it with them. And anybody who took the admission, we got a certain percentage of a success fee. So we were actually able to build this entire pipeline over a period of 4 months. First 3 months, and 4th month, we were able to segregate the entire thing. So yeah, that's a learning which I would love to share with this.
I think it's interesting. Like even some B2C businesses are like high ticket size business, right? And there is some similarity to B2B businesses there, where since the ticket size is higher, you focus on almost like B2B, where you build one-to-one relations with some of the potential buyers and try to engage with them in some of the manner that you suggested. Just summarizing the final thing, I think in B2B there is a lot more detailed, content, informative articles. The event formats are, a lot like more networking heavy. Building one-on-one relationship is very common in B2B. Having like, I think the tone is little less informal in B2B, whereas in B2C, the tone of content is a lot more formal compared to B2B. B2C is more catchy content. Social media has a big role in B2C. So community managers, if not directly do social media, of course, they should definitely try and see how they can leverage, like social media to generate value for their members. The content is a little more generic in B2C, where of course you create different cohorts, not only to like create different types of content, but also different cohorts can be engaged into different types of events. And most events in B2C are broadcast based, little bit of offline events that we heard from different people, especially Nishkarsh mentioned fan events could be a very interesting way even in B2C companies to build one-on-one relationships. And B2C communities on the referral side have seen most often referral as a way rather than affiliate, so less training but more productized way of getting new members. But even in those few communities, build sub communities of, let's say, more power member, especially with wherever there is a element of monetization. So again, in case of MPL, they've done like sub community for affiliates, and there are tools that people use to drive affiliate marketing, definitely in B2B, but even in B2C there are certain tools that can be used to drive referrals. So yeah, hope I was able to summarize very quickly everything, and I really hope that whoever attended so patiently, even 10 minutes after our original time, you found value in this discussion. If we missed anything, feel free to continue the discussion in Community Hood. Awesome. Thank you. Have a great rest of the evening. Enjoy. Looking forward to see you again, in our next event at Community Hood. And thank you. Good night. See you again. Bye.